everyone, I'm going to give a real quick tip on the vise and the hook sizes that you use in them. This vise that I have is a Renzetti Traveler. It is an older style, at least I think it's, well, I've had it for, gosh, I don't know how many years, at least probably 12, 14 years, something like that. And it's got the knobs at each end to make the adjustments. Now you do have the newer ones where you got the cam lock, and I do like that. The cam lock head will fit this Renzetti. I just haven't gotten around to ordering it yet. But the key to locking in the different size hooks is to make sure that the opening of your hook, as you can see right here, it's parallel. And what I'm going to do, just for demonstration purposes, I've got a Gamakatsu 10-aught, which is an extremely thick hook. I mean, that thing's probably close to 1/8 of an inch thick. And so what I want to do is just show you that whatever size hook you're using, you want the opening of your vise to be equal from the tip, and I'm going to call this the butt end, from the tip of the jaws to the butt of the jaws. And if it's parallel through there at the same diameter of the hook that you're using, not that I use 10-aught hooks on my vise, I'm just, again, doing this for demonstration purposes. You want that opening, when it's parallel, to be just open enough that it just barely fits right inside the jaws of the vise. And then on your bottom adjustment, on the bottom tightening knob, you just go ahead and if you're using large hooks, you want to try and get down into the vise as far as possible. So, and then as you're using smaller hooks, you bring them up towards the tip. But since I'm using this large of a hook, I'm going to run it all the way down to where it's touching the screw that goes through the head of the vise for the adjustment on the tip. Run it all the way in, and then use the butt end knob to bring it in and lock it down. So once that thing's locked down, you've got a really good connection there with the vise on a 10-aught hook. And again, I don't really tie 10-aughts on here. I bought them just pretty much because they look pretty cool at a fishing show I went to. But that's a 10-aught. Now, so what we want to do is go down to a Gamakatsu size 6 B10. It's a B10S, and so since we had the 10-aught in there, you can tell that that's way too open. And if I tried to lock in on the hook with the vise like this, it won't even close up entirely on the tip, as you can see there. So to get the trick is on all the hooks that you use is to get this parallel, this opening parallel to the diameter of your hook. You want to go parallel from the butt end to the tip on that opening. So we'll go ahead and make some adjustment. I'll usually dial these both at the same time and dial it down to where I think it's pretty close. And then I'll grab my hook and see if it fits in there, and it does. Actually, it fits in there perfectly. And then the other thing that I like to do is bring my vise up so I can look at the line of where the rotation is on the vise, so that when I put this hook in there, I want the shank of the hook, I want perfectly parallel in the center of the rotation. So I go ahead and make that adjustment there, and then tighten down on the butt end knob and lock that in. That way, if the shank is in alignment to the shaft where the vise rotates, that means that shaft, the shank on the hook, is going to stay right there in the center, so that if you actually use the rotation on your vise to apply materials, it's going to stay perfectly in the center. Now that's the Gamakatsu size 6 B10S. Let's go on down. I've got to pull this out of here. and I've got a size 18. Ooh, that thing is small. I've got a size 18 that I'm going to go down to. And again, you want to get that line. You want to get that line parallel right here. And you can see there's not much of an opening on that now at all. So when we put the size 18 in there, we can actually bring that 18 in right up at the tip. I need to open it up just a hair. Now it's using it as a gauge. You can see that, if you can, I'm not sure if you will or not, that it just barely fits inside the opening all the way down through there. You want that, again, you want that line, the opening, you want that parallel all the way through when you use the hooks. And the reason why is when you're tightening the hook, the vise, you want that vise to go in on the hook and not be tightened to where you've got a wide opening back here, because if you do and the hook is up at the tip and you got an opening like this, the hook is going to have a tendency to rotate on you and not hold into the vise securely. A lot of people think you have to have, you know, a special tip to get smaller hooks in here, but in all actuality you don't. You just have to know how to use your vise. So by taking this size 18 little streamer type hook and getting that opening, again, getting that opening parallel to the diameter of the shaft of this hook, I go ahead and I place it inside. Again, I'll bring this in parallel so that it's in line with the rotation. And sometimes to get it right, like if I was going to use this 10S or this 10-aught, I would have to lower my jaws down to bring the hook down. Right now I'm traveled as far out as it would go for this hook, and maybe that's where and I'm not sure because I don't have the hook for the rotation. But if you want to get smaller hooks and you're not going to do the rotating, you're going to use it as a standard vise, all you need to do is just make sure that, again, this is parallel in here, and then put your hook in and lock it down. And that hook is very secure in there. Again, just to give you an idea of what's going on, instead of going in on the hook and clamping this way, if you do, the hook's going to have a tendency to be able to spin inside those jaws. If you bring the jaws in parallel to the hook, then it's going to have a better bite on the hook and it's going to be more secure in your vise. I hope this tip helps you out. I'm planning on doing more videos like this one. Not necessarily tying videos. There's a lot of guys out there that do awesome tying videos. I will do some of my own here in the near future. I'm still trying to get the studio where I'm going to feel comfortable to start producing a lot of videos. Anyway, this is Mike. This is one tip on using your vise and different size hooks. Until the next video. Oh, by the way, if you're watching, you made it this far, be sure to hit the subscribe button on my YouTube channel. This is Mike. We'll catch you on the next video.